Welcome to World Epic History. Today, we journey to one of the most dramatic rivalries of the ancient world, the Roman Civil War between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great. Once allies, they stood together at the height of the Republic's power. But ambition turned to rivalry, and friendship became war. This is the story of betrayal, glory, and the struggle that shattered the Roman Republic and gave rise to an empire. In the late years of Roman history, two titans rose above all others, Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great. Their alliance once shaped the Republic, but ambition and rivalry soon tore it apart. This story unfolded as Rome stood at the edge of civil war, a conflict that would forever alter the destiny of the ancient world. Julius Caesar, famed for his conquest of Gaul, returned with legions hardened by years of war. Pompey the Great, once his ally and son-in-law, controlled Rome with senatorial support. Both men commanded loyalty that rivaled the Republic itself. Their collision was inevitable, and the first sparks of civil war began to ignite. The First Triumvirate, once binding Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus, had collapsed. With Crassus dead in the east and Pompey siding with the Senate, Caesar found himself isolated. What began as a political struggle soon became a test of survival, of who would dominate Roman history. The Senate, fearful of Caesar's growing influence, demanded he disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen. For Caesar, this meant political ruin and likely prosecution. For Pompey, it was a chance to reaffirm his dominance. The Republic stood on a knife's edge, as neither man was willing to yield. In January 49 BC, Caesar made his fateful decision. He crossed the Rubicon River with his legion, defying senatorial orders. "The die is cast," he declared, knowing there was no turning back. With this single act, Julius Caesar plunged Rome into civil war, setting himself directly against Pompey the Great. Panic seized Rome as news spread of Caesar's advance. Senators and magistrates fled the city, joining Pompey in retreat toward the east. Caesar marched swiftly, seizing treasury funds and securing Italy without resistance. Pompey the Great, though powerful, abandoned Rome rather than face Caesar's hardened veterans in open battle. Pompey the Great regrouped in Greece, gathering fleets and legions from Rome's eastern provinces. He controlled the seas, giving him a crucial advantage in supply and reinforcements. Caesar, though victorious in Italy, now faced the greater challenge of crossing into enemy territory against an opponent with superior resources. Caesar's campaign spread across the Mediterranean. In Spain, he defeated Pompey's legates at Ilerda, securing the western provinces. Yet in Rome, his enemies branded him a tyrant. The propaganda war raged as fiercely as the battles, with Caesar and Pompey both portraying themselves as defenders of Roman liberty. Despite setbacks, Pompey the Great commanded overwhelming numbers in Greece. His legions swelled with fresh recruits, while his navy blocked Caesar's crossings. Yet Caesar's reputation and charisma kept his veterans loyal. Roman history was poised for one of its most decisive showdowns. In 48 BC, Caesar finally crossed into Greece. At Dyrrhachium, Pompey gained the upper hand, forcing Caesar into retreat. But Caesar's resilience never wavered. He regrouped, seeking an opportunity to strike back. The Roman Civil War became a contest of endurance, where every move could decide the Republic's fate. Caesar refused to accept defeat. He marched his army inland, drawing Pompey away from the coast where naval power ruled. By forcing Pompey to fight on ground chosen by him, Caesar shifted the balance. The struggle between Caesar and Pompey the Great became a chess match across the landscape of Roman history. Pompey the Great remained cautious. He commanded superior numbers and supplies, yet he hesitated to face Caesar's veterans in a pitched battle. Some senators mocked Pompey's caution, urging him to crush Caesar quickly. But Pompey understood the discipline of his rival's legions and the danger of underestimating them. At Pharsalus in 48 BC, destiny called. Caesar, heavily outnumbered, stood against Pompey's massive host. Pompey the Great trusted his cavalry to crush Caesar's right flank. But Caesar anticipated the move, deploying hidden reserves. As the armies clashed, Roman history trembled on the edge of decision. The clash was brutal. Pompey's cavalry thundered forward, but Caesar's concealed infantry counterattacked with deadly precision. Pompey's proud horsemen broke and fled, leaving his legions exposed. Caesar pressed the advantage, driving deep into the heart of Pompey's army. The mighty host of Pompey the Great began to crumble. As the dust settled, the result was clear. Pompey's legions broke, and thousands surrendered. Caesar had achieved a miraculous victory against overwhelming odds. Pompey the Great, once master of Rome, fled the battlefield in despair. The fate of the Republic now tilted sharply toward Julius Caesar. Pompey the Great fled to Egypt, hoping for refuge from its young king, Ptolemy XIII. But fear of Caesar's power guided Egyptian politics. In a cruel twist, Pompey was assassinated upon arrival, murdered by those who sought to win Caesar's favor. His death ended a chapter of Roman history with cold betrayal. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, he was handed Pompey's severed head. Far from celebrating, Caesar wept for his old ally and rival. Roman history remembered this moment as a sign of Caesar's humanity, though some saw it as a calculated display of mercy for political gain. Caesar became entangled in Egypt's own civil war between Cleopatra and her brother Ptolemy XIII. Supporting Cleopatra, Caesar ensured her rise to power, blending Roman and Egyptian politics. This alliance secured his influence in the East and entwined his destiny with one of history's most famous queens. While Caesar lingered in Egypt, the remnants of Pompey's allies regrouped in Africa. The Senate's loyalists, still refusing to submit, raised fresh armies. For Caesar, victory at Pharsalus was not the end, but only the beginning of further struggles. Roman history marched toward even greater bloodshed. In Africa, Caesar faced the forces of Cato and Metellus Scipio, stalwart defenders of the Republic. These men carried Pompey's cause forward, determined to end Caesar's rise. The stage was set for more battles, as Caesar sought to consolidate his power and finally bring Rome under his command. In 46 BC, Caesar landed in North Africa to confront the senatorial armies. At Thapsus, his veterans clashed with Scipio's forces. Despite fierce resistance, Caesar's discipline prevailed. The elephants of Scipio's army panicked, trampling their own men. Victory was Caesar's, and Africa fell under his control. Cato the Younger, one of the fiercest defenders of the Republic, chose suicide over submission. His death became a symbol of resistance against tyranny. Yet Caesar mourned him, recognizing Cato's unyielding honor. Roman history preserved Cato as a martyr for the Republic's lost cause. With Africa subdued, Caesar turned to Spain, where Pompey's sons raised fresh legions. At Munda in 45 BC, Caesar fought one of his bloodiest battles. Victory came only after desperate struggle, with thousands perishing. Caesar later admitted it was the one battle where he truly feared for his life. After Munda, resistance collapsed. Caesar stood as master of Rome, unrivaled and unchallenged. The Senate, stripped of power, named him dictator perpetuo dictator for life. For many, this was the end of the Republic. For others, it was the dawn of a new Roman history under Caesar's rule. But absolute power bred resentment. Senators whispered of tyranny, fearing Caesar aimed to crown himself king. Memories of Pompey the Great, once hailed as Rome's protector, lingered among the aristocracy. The civil war had ended, but the seeds of new conspiracies had already been sown. Despite suspicion, Caesar governed with vision. He reformed the calendar, expanded citizenship, and planned vast campaigns into Parthia. Yet beneath his achievements lay a fragile peace. The Republic, scarred by civil war, stood uneasy under the shadow of Caesar's unrivaled power. In 44 BC, the Ides of March dawned. Caesar entered the Senate, unaware of the daggers hidden beneath togas. Led by Brutus and Cassius, conspirators struck. Julius Caesar fell beneath Pompey's statue, his blood staining the very ground once dominated by his rival. The death of Caesar shocked the world. His assassination was hailed by conspirators as the restoration of liberty, but instead, it plunged Rome into further chaos. The Roman civil war between Caesar and Pompey had ended, yet new wars were destined to follow in its wake. The rivalry of Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great had defined a generation. Once allies, then enemies, their struggle shattered the Republic. Out of their conflict rose new figures: Octavian, Mark Antony, and Cleopatra, who would continue to shape the destiny of Roman history. The Roman civil war between Caesar and Pompey was not merely a clash of generals. It was the death struggle of a republic, the turning point of Roman history. From its ashes rose an empire that would rule the Mediterranean for centuries. The age of Caesar had ended, but the age of Rome had only just begun.